Hello, I'm Pi, like the number, and I want to take you to Makeup Town. If you're new here, welcome. I do drag makeup tutorials and I live, laugh, love wacky drag, and if that's something you also like, hit subscribe. Let's get into this orange fantasy. Ooh, yes, let's do this. Woo! Yeah! Go ahead and prime your face. I'm using a silicone primer because I have huge pores. Now that you have a nice smooth facial canvas, we can go in with some makeup. I'm using Kryolan TV paint sticks for my entire base, starting with 070 as the white highlights, and 2W for this weird middle tone that I'm doing, and the 5W for my general base. Everywhere else, I always map out my face first with the colors as they are. I just think it helps to get a little bit better of coverage where I want them to all go. And then I blend it all in with a damp beauty blender. You can use any brand that you'd like. I just like a good booty blender. Now, for all of the white parts of my face, I'm actually using a separate beauty blender than I'll be using for the rest of my face. And I do this because I want to make sure that all of the color doesn't start mixing around too much. I put that highlight there for a reason. Using a kind of fluffy concealer brush, we're going to go in with a darker shade. This is 11W. We're going to carve out where we want our cheek shadows to go, otherwise known as the contour. So I'm kind of putting mine right over top of where my actual cheekbones are because I want to give the illusion that I have higher cheekbones, which means that the shadows would also be higher than my natural cheekbones. Follow that same pattern and start to carve out your jawline as well. And I'm going right over top of my natural jawline because I don't like her. That's why I'm putting makeup on, to cover her up. Pro tip, hold onto your contour brush very firmly. Otherwise, you're going to completely drop it. Anyway, let's go ahead and start to blend all of the contour out using a different damp beauty blender than what we used for our highlight and base. This, again, is to just make sure we're keeping the product where we placed it, because that's where we want it. That's also why I really like Kryolan specifically, because it is a little bit more difficult to blend out. That's why I like her. Do you want to hear a joke while I contour my nose? Okay, fine, I'll tell you a joke, don't beg. Knock knock. Who's there? The most tiny, perfect, angelic nose you've ever seen in the entire world. Just make sure you blend out the edges. To map out your eyebrows, you're going to go in with an angled brush and your contour shade. That's a very important step. Now, I'm not going to reveal all of my eyebrow secrets right now, but I will be releasing a video entirely dedicated to eyebrows for drag. So if you are feeling parched and the only water that you want to drink is an eyebrow tutorial, hit subscribe below so you don't miss the video when I release it, or click in the top corner if I already did. Once those are done, you can go ahead and grab some powder and set your face. Wow, I really wish that it was that quick in real life. Haha. Let's move on to eyeballs. Ooh. So I'm using a clear plastic sheet to create a nice sharp line. I actually do this exact same technique in my most recent video, which I will link right above. And I use the color green, but I'm using a nice bright neon orange from the Norvina Pro palette volume 3. And it's one of my favorite palettes. Go ahead and shape out your eye and start to buff up towards the brow. Then pack on some white eyeshadow under the brow, so that way as you build up the shape, the shadow has something to blend into. Using a more dense brush in that same orange, go ahead and start to pack in where you want your crease to go, and then start to buff out the line that we created before. Fill in the darkest corner and start to blend up into that white, and go back in with white. To start building up your crease shape, follow your natural brow bone with a darker shade, and connect it to that wing shape. For the under eye, take the original orange fluffy brush and pack on and buff out the outer half of the under eye up the vertical line that we've created, and then pack in some darker orange to reinforce the crease shape that we created before. To cut the crease, we're going to go in with a white concealer. This is Morphe brand, and you're going to follow that darker line that we created before. And a general guideline is to go a little bit above your natural brow bone to give you that maximum open look. Put it over the whole lid. While the lid is still tacky, you're going to go in with the lighter orange and the darker orange to create a nice gradient effect from that outer line all the way in towards your inner corner. Leave the top lighter and then go back in and reinforce that crease. For the dramatic white under eye, we're taking a slightly inward turned vertical line right down the middle of our eye, blending that out, and then cleaning up that line a little bit with the orange eyeshadow, and then filling in the rest of the inner corner with white concealer, and then just blend it out with your finger, specifically your ring finger, because it's the weakest and most delicate. To reinforce the face restructuring that we did with creams earlier, we're going to go in with some powders. Now for contour, I'm using a cool-toned shade. This helps to create a more natural shadow effect, as shadows tend to be more cool-toned. With both the cheek and the jaw contour, we want to focus the most dark pigmentation on the outer corners. This adds more depth. To add some more warmth back into the face, we're dipping into a pink shade to act as a blush. I use blush to predominantly blend my contour shade in with the white high points of my face. For eyeliner, I'm of course using my absolute fave. It is the Inglot Gel Liner and a small detail brush. Start in the inner corner, bringing it about halfway into the eye to almost meet the white that we created. Create the inner point, create the outer point, and then connect them with a curve that matches your eye shape. I have very hooded eyelids, so I need to create a more vertical curve. Go back in and fill in the entire lid with that exact same color, and don't worry about making the outer edge perfect, because we're going to go in with a black eyeshadow and start to smoke that out. So you're going to be packing and blending and following that vertical line that we've created before. I like to tug the corner of my face to give it a nice precise line. Bring it over onto the crease as well. Take some orange shadow, and we're going to start to blend that over top as well as into the eyelid. Finish off by darkening that lower lash line with the black eyeshadow. Up next is eyebrows, but I have a tutorial for that, so here's something special instead. For the lips, we're going to start by lining them with the Inglot Gel Liner. Start in the outer corners and then create the cross for your Cupid's bow. Start to create tiny little arches that go in the general direction of the outer corners. Once you have the desired shape of the Cupid's bow, you can go ahead and kind of follow that arch that you created to connect to the outer corners. For the bottom lip, start where your bottom lip kind of crevices in, connect them up to the top lip, and then connect those as well. For the shading, we're going in the outer corners and the bottom of the top lip, and we're just going to be feathering this out ever so slightly around the entire lip, so that way when we go in with the lip color, there's a little bit of black product to mix in with. Grab your liquid lip color and start to fill in all the empty space, and then using the remaining product on the wand, start to blend that in with the black Inglot Gel Liner to get a seamless outer finish. Now that's a nice set of lips. For details, we're going to go ahead and pop on the remainder of your eyeballs, which is going to be mascara, contacts, and eyelashes. And we're going to pop on a nice highlighter, focusing on the highest points of the cheeks. Grab some white concealer for a dot on the very end of your nose. And, of course, we need to add in a little bit more nose contour using that orange shade. And here is the finished look, because what's a wig? I don't know. I have no excuse. I didn't have a good wig for it, but here's the look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something and also lived, laughed, loved it. And if you did, please like this video and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Until next time, ta-ta, ooh la la, oh oui oui, omelette du fromage, other French words that I don't know. Bye!